This is 5 on your side at 6. Focused on you.
Tonight, a growing memorial in Festus for 2 children investigators say died at the hands of their mother. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson. Mike and Ann have the night off. Just hours ago, new charges were announced against Ashley Parmalee in St. Francis County for the death of her 9-year-old daughter, Scarlett. We have 2 reports tonight. Let's begin our coverage with Megan Kernan in Festus, where people have been stopping by the police station all day trying to make sense of this tragedy.
Kelly, that's right. People have been, the vigil here, the memorial has been growing throughout the entire day as people from the community continue to stop by to pay their respects. One mom told me that she has children the ages of 9-year-old Scarlett and 2-year-old Isaac and can't imagine what these families must be going through. Another woman told me that she was Scarlett's gymnastics coach. Just 2 hours ago, the St. Francis County prosecutor charged Ashley Parmalee with first-degree murder for the death of Scarlett. Investigators say that Ashley was driving in an area in St. Francis County when she pulled off to the road near Laker Pond and shot her daughter. Scarlett was found in the trunk of Parmalee's car outside of the Festus police station. Yesterday, the Jefferson County prosecutor charged the mother with second-degree murder and the death of Isaac. There's a memorial set up for the 2-year-old outside of the Timber Creek Resort. Police say she drowned him at the resort after shooting Scarlett. Scarlett's dad, Jason Doherty, shared these photos with us of his daughter and her brother. Earlier today, the Festus R6 school district confirmed that Scarlett had just finished the 3rd grade at Festus Elementary School. Now, we spoke with one woman who lives right across the street from the police station and says, as someone with children, she can't wrap her head around what happened.
I just couldn't believe what I was hearing, how a woman can take her children's life. I cried, I really did. It bothered me. I have great-grandchildren and grandchildren. It was very hard. I couldn't believe it.
Now, Ashley Parmalee is being held at Jefferson County Jail without bond. In just an hour, there will be a prayer vigil at the Twin City Little League in Crystal City at 7 o'clock for both of the children. Right now, there are at least 2 GoFundMes in place to help pay for the victims' funerals. And you can find both of those links at ksdk.com in the As Seen on TV section. Live in Festus, Megan Kernan, 5 on your side.
Tonight, the Festus community is starting to navigate life without 2 of their youngest members. Tracy Henson spoke with Jefferson County Sheriff's Crisis Intervention Team and a clinical psychologist about what comes next for people impacted by this loss.
Kelly, I spoke with 3 mental health professionals this afternoon who all say trauma like this impacts everyone differently.
On the scene, my first goal is to find out who was the initial responders and find out the details on their roles so I can understand the impact of the trauma they've experienced.
Austin was at the resort and his partner Lisa was in Festus. Both worked with first responders and witnesses. Services on the scene are not therapy, but can help alleviate physical manifestations of mental trauma.
They're going to be a little antsy. Their heart rate's going to be high, maybe their blood pressure, maybe there's headaches, maybe there's, physical symptoms they're not aware of.
The same can happen to people who were not there, who learned about the victims through the news.
Nobody's prepared to hear about a mom killing her children. It is incredibly painful. And for some of us, we may have intense emotional reactions to that. Those emotional reactions for you are very normal to this very unusual, abnormal event.
Dr. Andrews says start with those emotions by talking to friends and family, but keep these points in mind.
Some guidelines on whether just talking to family and friends and support is enough or not. How's your sleep? If your sleep's disrupted more than a couple of nights by an event like this, that is something you do not want to waste time on. If you're unable to focus, if you've lost the ability to do your normal activities of daily living, you can't concentrate at work, those are unusual responses after a couple of days.
All 3 said it's important to talk to others so you are not alone in your emotions. If you think you or a friend needs the help of a professional, Dr. Andrews says you can start by calling the crisis hotline at 988.
Thank you, Tracy. Tonight, the fight for federal compensation faces another hurdle. St. Louis advocates have been demanding support for radioactive waste victims, and the program that could help is set to expire soon. Justina Coronel is in studio to explain these latest efforts. Justina.
Kelly, the program is called the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, also known as RECA, and it's expiring next week. Now, RECA has been up and running since 1990, and the most recent goal is to expand the program to include Missouri and other states, but that plan is in limbo.
This fight's not over for us. We are still going to D.C.
A reaction to RECA. RECA, the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, compensates people exposed to nuclear waste connected to the first atomic bomb.
There are things in this program like screenings that Missourians who have been exposed need desperately, and it will save their lives.
The 34-year-old program already covers 3 states, and the latest effort would add even more, including Missouri. That's where the advocacy group Just Moms STL comes in, with over a decade of dedication. They've been campaigning to include the St. Louis region.
And I think that we can change this. I do still think we can do this.
On Tuesday, the group learned Speaker Mike Johnson may want to extend RECA for 2 more years rather than expand the program.
It's unfair to us. It's unfair to St. Louis. It's unfair to the other communities that have worked so hard to try to get here.
Multiple congressional leaders took to X, formerly known as Twitter, to denounce the pending decision.
Congresswoman Ann Wagner was like, nope, don't even bring it to the House floor. It's a hard no from us.
Co-founder Don Chapman said there are still some options left.
I think that the problem is the price tag, and the problem is that he doesn't fully understand why it's necessary.
A $50 billion price tag for a 5-year plan, $10 billion per year.
This is the price tag on a human being's death of a 2-year-old. That's what this is, and that's priceless.
The group plans to go to Washington, D.C. on Tuesday, and the program expires next Friday. They're asking community members to reach out to their congressional leaders to get this program expanded.
Thanks, Justina. At any time now, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is expected to sign a $53 billion budget. Lawmakers approved it overnight, and it has a little something in it for grocery shoppers. Eventually. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, is here with new details on the compromise that altered one of the governor's big promises. Mark.
Yeah, Kelly, how many times do you hear an Illinois governor cut taxes? Well, technically, his budget raises more than $1 billion in other taxes overall, most of them clever adjustments to corporate tax breaks or higher taxes on the more profitable sports books. But for people feeling that sting of inflation, you'll save a penny on every dollar you spend at the grocery store starting in 2026.
Governor J.B. Pritzker started the year targeting sticker shock at the checkout counter.
Let's permanently eliminate the grocery tax.
That push sailed through the House and Senate with bipartisan support.
We eliminated the state sales tax on groceries.
But with an important catch.
That's a big chunk of money.
That 1% tax you pay on groceries in Illinois, it goes to cities and towns, not the state.
The elimination of the 1-cent grocery sales tax will impact the state of Illinois, the cities of the state of Illinois, by over $320 million.
We met O'Fallon Mayor Herb Roach, who described just how much this will cost his city.
We'd have a loss of about $1.2 million of revenue. And what do? Do you find are you going to have to put on your own sales tax now to recoup that?
Once Pritzker signs the new state law, cities and towns can add their own grocery tax at the local level. And instead of ending the statewide grocery tax at the end of next month, you'll have to keep paying it for another 1.5 years.
At least cities now can do some planning for it instead of all of a sudden that loss, and they've already got their budgets in place for the coming year.
The state will still send funding for infrastructure and police to local governments.
I really believe that our local and county governments, our municipalities across the state, are important frontline providers for the people of Illinois.
But local elections will now take new shape with a major question facing the next wave of candidates.
We will try to see how we can overcome that $1.2 million loss without raising our taxes, yes.
So the grocery tax will go away, eventually, maybe, until the local politicians try to bring one back anyways. Other budget notes, the state will fully fund its pension plan and continue its annual $350 million increase in K-12 education.
Coming up, a growing hospital for a growing community. Wentzville's new and improved emergency room. Plus, bringing baseball history to North St. Louis. The mini museum in the works.
And we're tracking a weather system on target to bring us some rain as we head into parts of the weekend, but it's not a washout. We'll explain in 10 minutes.